ask why I left Brazil, a warm country full of natural wonders, and moved to a cold place somewhere between Central and Eastern Europe, there is only one answer that raises no doubts: to escape the violence. I say that at the very beginning of this video to answer a possible criticism. None of these cities are really that violent when you compare them to the average city in South Africa, Mexico, Colombia, or Brazil. I hope no resident of Bradford, Craiova, or any other municipality gets offended, especially considering the fact that I tried to make this as objective as possible by using real criteria like the registered homicide rate, the crime rate and the violent crime rate, property crimes like robberies and burglaries, the crime index score, an index developed by Numbeo using data from cities all over the world. So this list has the most dangerous place in each of these 15 European countries. With no further ado, let's start. And we start with the most dangerous city in the United Kingdom. When we talk about the United Kingdom, we are not talking about a country alone, but about 4 or 5, depending on the definition, under the same crown. I tell you that because the most violent city in the United Kingdom is not in England, but Scotland. And it's Glasgow. The worst indicator of the city is the crime rate, where Glasgow had 1,600 crimes per 100,000 residents, according to the Institute for Economics and Peace. If we consider only England, the most violent city is Bradford, in West Yorkshire. Not only Bradford is the city where residents feel the most unsafe, but it's also in the center of one of the most violent regions in England. The worst indicator of the cities are sexual offenses, with 22,870 cases in a single year. West Yorkshire also performs remarkably bad in the violent crime rate, with 111.6 violent crimes per 100,000 residents. Bradford was notorious for rapes and sexual assaults for a while, especially in Kiley, a Bradford neighborhood that also harbored one of the many child grooming gangs that are active in the UK not long ago. Okay, let's go for a calmer place and talk about the most violent place in Austria. And to talk about the most violent neighborhood in Austria is complicated, because there is not really any violent place in Austria. Even the capital and largest city, Vienna, is among the safest in Europe. When Viennese people tell you that a place is unsafe, they mean at risk of seeing drunk people somewhere. There is, however, one district that has a higher number of property crimes. It's called Favoriten, and the worst indicator of this place are burglaries. A few years ago, Favoriten had over 4,000 occurrences of burglaries in a single year. Now let's talk about Belgium. And there are no surprises here. Brussels is the most dangerous city in Belgium. Brussels is also one of the few cities on this list that has levels of violence comparable to some large cities in Latin America or Africa. The homicide rate in Brussels is 8.45 per 100,000 residents per year. This is comparable to São Paulo in Brazil. The most violent area in Brussels is called Molenbeek. It's known for being a predominantly Muslim area with many residents of North African descent. The area was originally a small village outside of Brussels that was eventually incorporated into the city. Molenbeek has become a hotbed for Islamic terrorism and radicalization in recent years. The next country is Finland. And Finland is another remarkably safe place whose most violent city could figure among the safest cities in the US, for example. And the most violent Finnish city, when you consider the homicide rate, is Lahti, the capital of a region known as Päijänne-Tavastia, and probably I just said it wrongly, which is a bit more than 100 kilometers distant from Helsinki. But why Lahti is considered the most dangerous city in Finland? Well, because they had 80 homicides in the last 20 years. Time for France. Surprisingly, the most dangerous French city is not Paris, but Marseille. The city's high crime rate is due to several factors: an estimated 20% unemployment rate, a large immigrant population, and its proximity to North Africa, where drug trafficking routes originate. The worst city indicator is the crime index score, with a score of 61.65. Germany. Just like Finland, the most dangerous city in Germany would figure among the safest in many countries outside Europe. Still, Frankfurt, the German financial capital, is relatively dangerous when compared to other cities in Germany. Their worst indicator is general crime. Frankfurt registered 16,378 crimes per 100,000 inhabitants in 2006, making it Germany's most dangerous city. And the next is Greece. And no surprise that the most dangerous city in Greece is Athens. A personal anecdote: I spent 3 days in Athens with my parents. In this short period, this stole things from both me and my father on different days. So I would understand when the worst indicator of the city are property crimes. The next country is Italy. It's a close dispute between Naples and Catania about which one is the most dangerous city in Italy, with the Sicilian city having a slightly higher perceived crime rate than Napoli. There are also complex issues with organized crime, also known as mafia, that for decades haunted the region. The worst indicator of Catania is the crime index score, 60.36. And the next country that we are going to talk about is the Netherlands. However, before we continue, I would like to ask a small favor. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. So, the Netherlands. One of the most visited capitals in Europe, Amsterdam is also the most dangerous city in the Netherlands, just above Eindhoven and Rotterdam. The worst indicator of the city are robberies, with 226 in a single year. And now a curious discovery from Poland. If there is one city on this list that you never heard about or can even pronounce its name, I bet it is this one. Because the most dangerous city in Poland is Śląskie. This industrial city is part of the metropolitan area of Katowice, the largest conurbation in the Silesian region. Silesia was once prosperous due to mining activities, but due to pressure from the European Union, multiple mine-related industries closed and the municipality faced considerable issues. The worst indicator of the city are violent crimes, with 36 per 1,000 residents. Portugal. Here is another example of a very safe country where the most violent town is really not that unsafe. Albufeira is a Portuguese city in the Fado district, a district and sub-region of the Algarve, with a population of roughly 40,000 people. Their worst indicator is the crime rate, with 8.35 cases per 1,000 residents per year. Romania. Craiova is a city in the middle of Romania. It has a population of almost 300,000 people and is the capital of Doge County. Some parts of the city are beautiful and have many attractions for tourists. But Craiova also has a dark side. The city is known as one of the most dangerous cities in Romania, if not the most dangerous, competing with the capital, Bucharest. The crime rate is way above the national average. Here are some reasons why Craiova is dangerous. The high unemployment rate causes many people to not have money to spend on things like food and clothes, so they turn to crime. There are also some considerable ethnic tensions in some districts. There are gangs in Craiova who control parts of the city where they sell drugs and commit other crimes. These gangs often recruit new members directly from schools. Their worst indicator is the crime index score, 56.2. Spain. Here, exception, instead of one city, we list two, since they are basically merged into a single metropolis. The most dangerous cities in Spain are El Prat de Llobregat and Barcelona. The capital, Madrid, despite its 3 million inhabitants, is safer than those two cities. If you ever took a flight to Barcelona's main airport, you actually landed in the city of El Prat. Their worst indicator is the crime rate, with 86 in El Prat de Llobregat and 71 in Barcelona, cases per 1,000 residents per year. And the last country of our list, Sweden. The most dangerous city there is Malmo. It's Sweden's third largest city and has become one of Europe's most dangerous cities in the last year. It has been compared to Chicago in terms of street violence. Malmo has 65 shootings in a single year. Now let's consider that Malmo has only close to 345,000 people, and you can see how harsh the Swedish city has become. And their worst indicator of Malmo is the crime index score with 56.75. If you want to know more about those indicators that I mentioned and everything, I left some links on the description, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember to subscribe to our channel for the next ones.